How's it going, Sha?
Um, it's going okay. Ups and downs. Sunrise, sunset. Uh, a happy thing and then a sad thing. Just life,
Okay,
life, basically.
we're living. We're living.
um, I am. Oh. Okay. I am. Uh, very upset, quietly so, but also in a big way. One of a member of my favorite rap group passed away a few days
Yeah,
ago, and I am quietly distraught.
yeah. I mean, he was a legend. For those of y'all unaware, Dave, Plug Two, I believe,
Plug, plug two.
of
True
De La
Goy,
Soul.
True Goy, the Dove, what, however. Yeah, he passed away um earlier this week,
Yeah, I always
and
loved the True Goy name. Uh,
yes.
with I think was he the only one that did that with the reversing of like a word,
No,
right?
no, actually it was, Trugoy is yogurt backwards,
Yeah,
but Pastanus,
yeah.
is sop sound, SOP, and then sound,
There you go.
um, and that was because he used to DJ before he started rhyming, and he was DJ Sop Sound, and he said it was because his mother was Southern and used to say things like, "You better get bread and sop all that off your plate with the bread or with a biscuit or something." So he figured he was sopping up all the sounds and giving it to you. So then when he started rhyming, he reversed it to pas de nous.
Yeah, he's
And then,
my favorite of the group. But
yeah, yeah, mine too. Okay, starting out, pas de nous was my favorite, yes. But the wackiness of
yeah,
De La is very Dave. Dave
yeah,
was kind of the de facto leader. He was the oldest of the three. And like his sensibility, they took turns. It wasn't just one person's group or whatever, but any of the kind of really wacky ways of delivering things tended to be like Dave's ideas kind of, or he
yeah,
was like the true creative heart behind it. So,
yeah.
you know.
So I grew up right after that era. Like they were still clearly making dope music,
Mhm.
but I grew up liking the kind of like their kids, if you will. Like instead of native tongues, I was more into like the Soulquarians in that group.
Right.
So like Mos and Black Thought and the Roots and all of that. But during that era, like the so much of hip hop was very aggressive gangster music,
Mhm.
and I just remember like laughing so hard at the fact that a group was just like we're dope and silly and just enjoying that like they could say, yeah, my name is yogurt backwards, and and like I thought like there was sincere beauty in that, and like, yeah, I'm still dope, and like I could tell you this is a silly thing that I enjoy, and you still can't take away from the fact that my music is fire. Like, like
Right.
there's so much of that era that like I associate with like people trying so hard to convince me that they will murder me. And that was the so like centric to their image, and
Mhm.
they were they were like, yo, like we're just regular people who happen to rap really, really well and have really dope art that we want to communicate with every and share with everybody. Yeah, I just thought that was so dope to have that confidence. And I kind of missed that for a while there, and I think it's coming back now, where like uh, you have all of the hip hops. I like super gangster rap. I just don't think everyone should make that because that's not everyone. I like
Right.
that there's like everything. I think that's dope. So yeah, like they were the group that I saw that like stuck to that during an era where I didn't think anyone could. And I was thought that was fire.
Yeah, because I mean, hip hop was really kind of it it wasn't anywhere close to the hold it has on American culture now, but it was much bigger than it was when it started, like 10, 15 years prior, something like that.
Yeah.
So, um, it was, uh it was notable, and honestly, if you look at hip hop when it first started, what they were wearing, like, oh my god, they all had on, like, their chests were out, everybody was shirtless with a vest on, like that hip hop section of the Grammys when old dude when Melly Mel came out and he didn't have a shirt on still, and I was like, "Bruh, this is 50 years of hip hop, you haven't put on a shirt in 48 years." Like, so it was all like leather and extra belts and feathers on a vest was when it first started out. And then it got to be, no, this is the dude that you know around the way. This is the dude on the corner. So it was all like tracksuits and lots of chains. Um, so then De La was like coming out of that was just like, not goofy, but just like not that hard. Not everyone was that. Like,
Right.
so that was a lot. But I will challenge anyone who thought they were weird at the time, because I remember I was in high school,
Yeah.
when that album dropped, and I definitely remember folks thinking that they looked weird, but I'm like, "But look around your classroom, you see a version of this right now." I'm sitting right here. Like, that dude is sitting right there. Like, we're here, we're literally here in Stone Mountain, Georgia, so that means, like, people who look like this are out there. We're not all the other thing.
Yeah.
But I challenge anyone to watch the video for, what was their biggest hit, Me, Myself, and I.
Yeah.
And I want you to look at Dave's haircut. Dave had, like, not quite dreads, but definitely a very textured situation on, like, 3/4 of his head, but then lines cut in on the front and all lined and I'm like, I mean, I guess you could say that's weird, but look at that haircut and tell me that shit ain't tight as fuck. And
Yeah.
that's
I
the
was gonna
confident you're
say
talking about. Like, where it's like, I mean, I guess you can think I'm weird, but I'm also tight, and I'm showing you that literally right now.
that shit is heat.
Yeah. It
Much
was
respect.
yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, so it's a little sad that he passed away 3 weeks before their music is finally going to be released online because they had a very hard time they've had for years, a very hard time getting their back catalog, their first 6 albums,
Yeah.
and they only have 8 albums. So the bulk of their stuff online available for streaming, and it's a huge part, an extremely influential part of hip hop that was just missing from that. And nowadays with the internet, the kids are moving so fast, and I'm like, I don't even think you know that you're doing what you're doing. Like you're copying this thing, and you don't even know exactly where it came from.
Yeah.
So now it's a chance for them to hear where it came from and like another generation or 2 to like get into it. Um and on their terms and with them finally making money on it and everything. So it is sad that Dave passed away before he could see that. But
Right.
I mean, I feel like for the past few years, we were in the middle of giving De La their flowers.
Yeah.
Like, we've been giving him flowers for, like, 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
So,
Long deserved.
yeah, I mean, I think he knew he was loved. I think he
Yeah.
knew that.
I
So,
hope so.
I hope
Also
so,
low key,
so
like I'm a huge Jake One fan. He's a producer from Seattle. They might have the greatest Jake One beat ever. And one of the best songs on a Jake One beat with Rock Cocaine Flow with
that's
MF
probably one
Doom.
of the best hip hop songs ever.
Yeah, like it is
Literally.
incredible. Yeah, and it's a song that like if someone's thinking of best of De La, it's still not might not be their top 10 because it's so much later in their catalog. And
Right.
that's how fire they are. That like 15 years in, they're still making
Mhm.
things that are the best ever of the genre.
Right,
Yeah,
that's one of the 2 albums that's available on streaming, which
yeah,
means you
grinding.
didn't even hear the other 6,
Yeah, like
and this is
it's
what they were doing on record 7. Come
straight
on.
up. Yo, that it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's
Sincerely.
truly nuts. It's truly nuts.
Def go check them out, man. Like a lot of heat. Again, rest in power, Mister Plug too.
Yeah.
Always appreciated what you gave to the game, man. Um, yeah, So I this is one of those combos too that like so like I've tried to like I guess inception my kids with stuff like this.
Okay.
Cause you know, like with like good music that like I connect to, I
Mhm.
realized I was doing it backwards a couple of times and that was my fault. So like I try to just play songs that I like a lot and I'm connected to like during car rides and
Mhm.
just sing along to it because they don't know what era it's from. They're just maybe like the last 2 to 3 years now that they're old enough to like have friends that are into their own music.
Right,
But
yes.
for the first like 10, 12 years, kids are just like whatever dad and mom play, that's the radio,
Right,
you know?
exactly.
So I started doing that because like early on, like I would get mad at them for like, oh, you don't know this Nas song? And like, of course they don't. He's six, you know? And like it took me a minute to like not be angry at this kid for
Mhm.
not knowing this and like just going on a tirade. I was like, dude's that 5 mic album. What's wrong with you? You know what I mean? You gotta know the classics. And like he has no frame of reference. He doesn't know why this is great. You know,
Right.
so I started to just play the songs and like I'll catch my daughter like humming a hook to like
Mhm.
something that I loved in 98 or 94. And uh then later she'll be open to the concept of it, like, oh, you know, that's actually this person or whatever. And it just comes up because the recently like I caught her singing the Daylight joint with Shaka Khan. It
Oh,
ain't all
wow.
good. Yeah,
Wow,
like she
okay.
was just singing the hook around the crib
Uh-huh.
because I really rock with that joint. So I
Mhm.
like play it in the whip so much that like they've grown up with that being one of dad's driving songs,
Yes.
you know? So yeah, like I was just like, oh, that's dope. That like I kind of infiltrated it into like her life. And like she'll probably hear that when she's like 40 and like remember me. And
Yes.
then like have like eras of music through that one song with De La being old school hip hop and Shaka Khan being even further back in terms of genre. So it really meant a lot. I thought that was dope.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way to do it is just play. I mean, my mother, oh my goodness. My mother, just played her albums all the time, right? And we had no we had no choice in the matter until we got our own bedrooms, and then he was like, "Here's a record player, here's a record player." We had no choice, no choice in the matter. That's just what we had to listen to. Um, and so, that's fine. Kids are fully their brains are the most open they will be at this time,
Yeah.
right? So they can take in, say, your mother's constant Teddy Pendergrass, diet and Motown, and still also listen to what's on the radio and be able to go, okay, this is older stuff. This is blah. This is what they're into. Yada yada. But then right around um my early teen years is when they introduced, a record player with a tape deck built in.
Yeah.
Not a 8-track, but a tape deck where you can record directly off the record or off the radio. And so I had asked for one, and for like just, "Can I have one, please?" And they got one, I guess, for my birthday or something. And I was so specific when it came to music stuff. I was so specific. I'm like, "It needs to be able to do this. I need it to tape, blah blah blah, and yada yada yada, and then it has to have these 3 speeds and yada yada, all this stuff." And they're like, "Okay, Shalewa." So they got this thing, so they got it and they're like, "Why is this different from the record player we have out here that we've been using for years?" And I'm like, first of all, it has a cassette tape deck built in. It also had an 8-track built in, but that was all they could find. I get it. It was like mid 80s. And I said, "Look, I'm putting in a blank tape. I put on the radio, some song started, I hit record, and I'm still talking to him the whole time." And I said, "Now, as we're talking, this has been recording the song off the radio, but it won't hear us because it's getting it directly off the radio. It's all built in." Because we were a family that played with tape decks all the time. We were always recording ourselves at dinner and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
my mother was like, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah, so I can tape my favorite songs off of records and put it on this tape deck, on this tape." And she's like,
Hell
"Show
yeah.
me how to do that." And I did, and now we created a monster. Now this bitch is taping all her Motown. She's going to record stores. She's buying 45s of songs she hadn't thought about in years and bringing them home and taping them. And now we got to hear this shit in the car. And I'm like, "Oh man, I didn't know." I don't have a chance. Now I can't escape it. I've created a monster. You
That's beautiful,
know?
though.
And then my dad had to go and tape some of his jazz albums. So then we had to figure out what longer tapes were so we could get a full out. He's like, we can't break it up. This is a 17-minute song or whatever. And I'm like, all right, Captain Bebop, or But because of that, all of that is in my head. And so now I can, that's this, that's that, yada yada. And
Hell yeah.
that's the thing, is just to play it and not, like, I would say not force them, but I mean, occasionally at some point you will have to play your kids' music in the car. It's only fair. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, if they have something they're rocking with and you just put it on, you have to. So
I do it
then,
on road trips.
yes. Yeah,
Like,
that's only fair.
yeah,
You
I'm like,
know?
I control the radio when I drive, but like, if it's 6 hours, yeah, that's not fair. Like, you can't. There's only so many MOP songs a child should listen to in a row.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
especially with you. You probably should only get an hour's worth of time. You were
yeah,
killing
because
them
I'm
kids.
yelling those lyrics the whole
Yeah.
song. So like,
Yeah, you don't have I have a feeling you don't have the censored versions of these songs.
never, no, not once.
No, right, so
They see dad transform to a very scary person.
yes, right, so
We were just having this conversation actually because they were listening to the song and they're like Aiden was like, are these guys like really this angry? And, and I was like, in general, no, but during the song, yeah, I'm think they're like projecting an angry moment. Why do you
Mhm.
ask? And he was like, cause and this was it was like 3 MOP songs in a row where like
Sure.
he noticed that he was like, yo, the guy just keeps giving his address. Like he keeps threatening people and telling them where to find them. Like I didn't know you could do that on a song. And I'm like, what? And like he's like, he says his address and and he's right. He's like, one of the chorus was like 1545 saying like he's saying like his like full address.
Full address. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So over and over again, he's like in the other song, he was like, I'm on Saratoga Avenue. I'm like, why is he telling people? He's like 1545 St. Mark's Ave. He's like, I know those streets, Dad.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, it's fun to hear a street name that you know.
Yeah.
When you hear a song and you're like, "Yeah, that's right, Bankhead Highway," or whatever, but then when it's like, "Okay, don't tell me the house, the color of the house." Something's going to happen to whoever is in that house.
Yeah, he's like, people can find you. Like, he was just so concerned. He was like, is it his own house? Because if it's a building like us, I don't want someone coming looking for him and I'm living there. Like, he went off on a whole tirade on this. He was very concerned.
Oh my gosh. There is a sketch on, of all places, the old, Ben Stiller had a sketch show in like the early 90s, just called The Ben Stiller Show. And there
Yeah.
was a sketch about a rapper who is, talking about his neighbor. And the song is just like, that's right. I said, kill Doug Shafty. And like he's naming the street addresses, blah, blah, blah. And the video is the guy in the background going, stop it, stop it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So it definitely, that was a thing that seemed to be that your son picked up on, that was for sure going on. There were no mixed messages. It was just straight up message. Nothing mixed.
Nope. You know exactly the energy. Yep,
no real internet. So you couldn't, you had to tell people where your ops were or whatever.
Cause yeah, like I was talking to him about like art in general. And I was like, yeah, like share your feelings and you can do complex things. And he's like, no, like this guy is very direct. Like there's no hiding, like there's no metaphors in this. And I was like, no, not
Right.
at all. You know exactly what he means, and you can go discuss it with him at 1545 St. Mark's Ave. You have a disagreement. Oh man, music's dope,
Oh.
man.
It's something. Oh my
Oh man,
god.
let's get into the news.
Okay.
uh, Gibbon, who lived alone in her cage, had a baby. Japanese zookeepers finally know how. Okay, coming up strong. Japanese zookeepers believe they have solved the mystery of how a gibbon, am I saying that right? Or a gibbon?
Or a gibbon? I don't
Gibbon?
yeah.
Of how a gibbon became pregnant, despite gibbon sounds like a French food. You're right. Gibbon has to
Yes,
be it.
right, I think gibbon as in ribbon. Or
Yeah, there
maybe
we go.
something like that.
I was adding the accent for no reason.
Yeah, no, you wanna make it fancy. I mean, this
Oh
is
yeah.
magical. I get it.
A gibbon became pregnant despite living alone in her cage. Momo, a 12-year-old white-handed gibbon, shocked her keepers at the Kujukashima Zoo and Botanical Garden in Nagasaki in February of 2021 when she gave birth, despite having no known male companionship. Now, 2 years later, following a DNA test, oh, they took her on Maury. Following a DNA test on her baby, yo, the zoo has worked out who the father is and even has a theory about how the gibbons made it. The tests show the father to be Ito, a 34-year-old agile gibbon, hell yeah, who was in an adjacent enclosure to Momo around the time she became pregnant. The zoo told CNN on Friday it believed that Momo and Ito, who had managed to mate through a small hole in a steel plate between their enclosures. The hole measured about 9 millimeters, zero point 0.3 inches in diameter. The baby ape, who is yet to be named, now weighs around 2 kilograms, 4.4 pounds, and is growing healthy under Momo's loving attention, the zoo said.
Okay, so okay. Alright. So, I mean, what did they say? I can't believe it took a fucking DNA test. Is honestly the main thing I can think of. If you've had a 34-year-old gibbon next door, a
Mm-hmm.
dude, and here's this young, what did you think? I mean, I get it was a steel plate, but what makes you think that he's not gonna figure out a way around
Yo,
that?
real talk.
He did it through a
Mm-hmm.
hole in the plate that was that was zero point 0.3 inches in diameter. I
That's
mean,
it.
zero
That's all
point
he
0.3
needed.
inches wide. Yeah, I guess it's not about girth with with gibbons. It's definitely a length thing.
Hey,
I guess.
and that might be girthy for gibbons, you know?
I mean, who knows?
I don't know the gibbon, you know? We don't know the gibbon like competition, you know? I ain't out there in gibbon streets.
Yeah,
He
that's
might be
true.
killing it. If anything, like I'm hyper impressed with like, the riz that this gibbon gotta have to like
he's
convince
been
this.
he's been murmuring things to this
Yeah.
young lady. Also, I guess this is like a, a bi a biracial gibbon because
Yeah, yo.
the mom is a white-handed one, but the dad is an agile one,
Mm-hmm.
which there are different kinds. It says the population of agile gibbons in the wild has been decreasing, and they've been listed as an endangered species. So I know he knew what he was doing. He was like, "Yo, there
Mm-hmm.
ain't a lot of me. I got to get me out here."
Plus one. You know what I
Well,
mean? Right there.
yeah, yeah, endangered plus one.
Oh yeah, yo. Get it
Or
in, homie.
at least plus a half. I mean, don't count them out. Don't count us out yet, says Ido.
Yo, I'm impressed. I don't know, man. Get it in, homie. Do that work.
I mean, yeah, that is. I guess that is a lot of work.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yo, agile, yo. Everything about it sounded dope too. The agile gibbon. Hell yeah, you agile. I know you are. You know what I mean? Get it in. Respect, yo. I hope you talk all the shit in your cage, Let the other dudes know. That's
Yeah,
me. That's
yeah,
my
I hope
baby.
so. Like, hey, I hope you didn't show him the hole. Like, Momo should be yours alone. Like, you should mate. Like, that should be your thing. But
Hell yeah.
wow, I mean, that's great. But I still can't believe they needed to do a DNA test. I feel like they probably should have checked that wall first. But maybe they don't. But they're zookeepers. But maybe they don't know how thin a gibbon's penis is. But then again, they're
They
zookeepers.
should.
They should know that, right?
Yeah.
I need you to know everything about the animal. if you're gonna
Yeah,
be in charge of talking to kids about the animal. No, don't tell kids about their dick game, but definitely know it in case
yeah.
it comes up like through a tiny hole. Know that.
It's not like they covering either. Like, they have pants on, you know?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Huh,
Yeah,
huh.
man. These zoos, they slacking. Okay.
They are. I wonder who ordered the DNA test, though. Like,
Mm.
I wonder if Ito was like, "Nah, test her." Y'all being disrespectful right now. Go on to test her.
That's me.
What you
Y'all
wanna do?
believe.
You wanna swab my cheek? Here you go. I'll give you whatever you need.
Oh man. Shout outs to Edo, man, getting it done out there. That's how you do it, you know?
Oh
Oh
my
man. Game's
gosh.
never over, Edo, okay?
That's right. It's only just begun, Ito.
I'm mad they just didn't look next to the cage next to us and be like, yo, Ito been strangely relaxed lately, man. Like
Right, yeah.
it's like this one there's one agile gibbon just constantly smoking cigarettes. Like,
Right, exactly.
come on,
Just
man.
like I did my part. Is literally reclining with his hands behind his head, always kicking his feet up. We're like, "Huh, I don't ever shout like that before." He used to
Yeah,
pace
man.
around a lot, but now he seems very chill.
Oh man. In other news, Massachusetts bill proposes reduced sentences for inmates who exchange organs for donation. Okay. Um, a draft bill in Massachusetts House of Representatives that proposes sentence reductions for inmates in exchange for organ donations has opened a profound ethical debate. The offer on the table, which could be extended to 6,000 prisoners in liberal state, is between 60 and 365 days shaved off their terms in exchange for a kidney, a section of liver, or bone marrow extraction. The bill put forward.
Okay, keep reading because this feels,
Yeah, the the bill put forward by Democratic legislators has been met with incredulity.
in
In,
incredulate in I wanna say
incred-
incredulous, but that's not it, anyway, the guy don't believe it.
yeah, by human rights activists.
The guy does not believe it.
Michael Cox, director of the Black Pink Massachusetts, an organization dedicated to abolishing the criminal punishment system, has described the measure as unethical and depraved. They're a marginalized group in society, highly stigmatized and extremely vulnerable. And so, to incentivize the selling of your body parts in exchange for the most precious commodity in the world, which is time on earth and your freedom, was just so appalling. Ethics communities of the NGO United Network of Organ Sharing, UNOS, also criticized initiatives of this kind. Any law or proposal that allows a person to trade an organ for a reduction in sentence, particularly a sentence from death to life in prison, raises numerous issues.
Yeah, like, what? What are you talking about?
This is
That's
wild.
This is wild. Also, I mean, I think I'm just gonna say what everyone is thinking. Has no one seen a scary movie when they get take the hand of of a killer and you don't know it's a killer and then it's a hand transplant on someone else and now that hand wants to keep killing? Has no one seen these movies where you take the parts of people who have done wrong and you put them in good people and then those people want to do wrong because they got the parts of a do wrong person?
Yeah.
These might as well be documentaries at this point. How do we not know that this is an option? Come on.
I
I
want no parts of this.
This doesn't feel right. I mean, ethically, that is gray area. That is a
Yeah.
dark gray area,
Dark gray,
but
I was gonna say.
it is very dark. But but just practically, you are um really taking the parts of people who may have done bad and putting them in people who, um, if they've done bad, they weren't caught. But now they're going to, you know what I mean? Like, who wants an evil bone marrow in them? You know?
I
Now, I don't know. It just seems like you're asking for a lot of trouble. There are a lot of questions. And for me, it's like, what happens if I get the spleen of a killer and now I want to kill? because my spleen is telling me to kill.
I love that this is the thing that bothers you most.
It does. Sadly, I wish I was a deeper person. You know what I mean? I really do. I wish I wasn't this shallow. I'm so shallow, everyone. But
Are
this
you
is
concerned for people taking advantage of prisoners? No, 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 not that at
no, no.
all. I don't
Yeah.
want to be killing like them out in these regular streets.
Right. I'm already assuming they're all bad. Like, come on. It's just if there weren't already movies that showed this happening, this wouldn't be a thought. Then it would be more of an ethical, like, what are you,
Yeah,
what? Like that feels wild
yeah,
because I mean, it feels like it forces the hand of people who are saying that it forces the hand of people who are locked up for reasons that for too long for
yeah.
bullshit reasons. Now the only way they can get free is if they give us a liver? Like, that's
Yes.
insane. Because they were caught holding, like, an ounce? Get out of here. That's wild.
Yeah, I did 2 years, but I got out early off of these traffic tickets because
Right,
I gave my
yeah.
kidney. Know what I mean? Yeah, I did 85 on the freeway, so but I gave him my
Yes.
kidney, so I'm good.
I got arrested on a Friday and Friday night, and they just never got to me. So I've been locked up for 3 years waiting for just my arraignment. But I said, "What if I give you a spleen? What if I
Yo, man,
what if I do that?"
and this like changes the whole game because like I would like, for example, like we've already had shady cops. Like, what if a cop has like a daughter that needs a spleen or some shit, and he arrests you because he knows you a type B, and like you match, like your bloods is good. So like he
Yeah.
just starts talking, especially like the people with like the rare blood types, like what is it, type O or something.
Yeah.
Like you got like a weird blood type, and like word got out, that dude with type O,
You're
you
right. Now you're
need him.
constantly getting stopped.
Yeah, you just a
Stop
target.
and frisk for typos only.
you know, like yo, that it get crazy out there.
Mm.
Yeah, nah,
Yeah.
this scares me a lot.
Yeah. I think we've brought up a couple of issues. I
Yeah,
think we as to how this wouldn't work. The killing
since
spleen and the being hunted. It feels like you're being hunted.
yeah, I'm not about this at all.
Mm-mm.
Keep this far away from us. I'm not surprised this is a New England decision. It's just I don't know why, just that just feels right. That feels like I read the articles like, yep, y'all would come up with this.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
Come on, I'm rooting for the parts of New England I rock with. Portland, Maine. Fight this off. Uh, you got some good
Look,
people over
I
there.
have not
Vermont.
spent much time, if any time, in New England, so I can't say as if this sounds like you specifically, but it's not a good look. It's not a good look.
Oh,
Maybe nudge your state to the left of you or to
a
the right
little
of
bit,
you and
a little
go,
bit.
maybe not, buddy.
Is bring it up. See where your people stand.
Right, right.
In other news, a man jailed in the theft of monkeys from a Dallas zoo said he'd do it again. Okay. 24-year-old man now linked to an unusual string of crimes that kept the Dallas Zoo on the lookout for missing animals. Told police that after he swiped two monkeys from their enclosure, he took them onto the City Lights rail system to make his getaway. Davian Irvin also said he loves animals and that if he's released from jail, he would steal more. That's right. Irwin, who remained jailed Tuesday on a $25,000 bond, was arrested. Now, he ain't got no kidneys to give away. Was
Mm.
arrested last week after asking questions at a downtown Dallas aquarium about animals there. He is charged with 6 counts of animal cruelty and 2 counts of burglary. An attorney listed for Irwin in court records did not respond to a request for comment. Irwin told police that on the night of January 29th, he waited until dark, jumped the fence to get onto zoo grounds, cut the metal mesh of the enclosure, and took the 2 Emperor Tamarian monkeys, according to the arrest warrants. He then got into the city's light rail before walking to the vacant home where he said he kept his animals.
Okay. All right. First of all, if you remember a couple of weeks ago, I was very concerned about where all the monkeys were going. They all just seem to be going everywhere, including these that were stolen. Um, and so a lot of you did send me some news that, hey, they caught the dude. And I'm like, great. Monkeys are back. Wonderful. That's great. Um, so so I appreciate that update from all of our troops and correspondents. Thank you. I was sleeping better after I got that news. Um, but let me just get it straight on this young man, Davion Irving. He took 2 monkeys on the train
Yo.
home.
That is wild, yo.
And let me tell you, I know, Gastor, I know that is very hard for you to believe, but here's why I absolutely believe this is possible. Because this is Dallas, because this is Texas, because this is a part of the country that loves its cars, relies on driving. Note that they call it a light rail system. So it's nothing hardcore, which means nobody's on it.
Okay.
Chances are, if it's anything like Atlanta's, which really should be expanded, and you don't get me started on MARTA, but in the same, I could almost see this happening in Atlanta. Like 15 years ago, absolutely somebody could have stolen some monkeys and taken them on the fucking train in Atlanta. And people would have been like, oh man, you see Monkey Man on the train? And that would have been it. So I absolutely believe this guy could get on Dallas's light rail system. This is the first I'm hearing of Dallas even having a rail system. And I have friends who live in Dallas. So, like, absolutely. So I know you want to go, how did he get monkeys on the train? They went under the turnstile like any kids. And then he walked right on through. I'm here to tell you, it is so easy to get away on in a city that's known with a lot of space and it's car centric.
Yo.
It's so easy to get away. You could do it in LA, honestly. Honestly, don't no one ride the train out there. You absolutely can do it in LA.
Yo, South to South for giving the zoo criminals more ideas. You know what I mean? You got options, baby. Don't limit yourself to Dallas.
Just,
you know?
There are many cities that are not walkable enough, and you can get away with the monkey. So I truly believe this is what this young man did.
Because like the distance that he went 15 miles.
Yeah.
He went to a home 15 miles away from the zoo. That's a brawling train ride.
Yeah.
Yo, that is mad time on a train.
That's what I mean. Everything is spread out, which means he walked a little bit, but I'm sure the train is closer to the zoo than it was to that empty house, right?
Yo.
So he probably just hopped on the train there and then just rode out as far to the end of the line, close to his hideout, to the hideout. And then he just walked down the street with the 2 monkeys. And I bet people in the neighborhood were like, there's Davion. He always walking with some animals. And think nothing of it. They thought nothing of it. That is how you steal 2 monkeys.
Oh, yeah. You lay the groundwork, you know?
Yeah. Also, Dallas Zoo, think about your security. My man waited till dark and then just hopped the fence. I'm not saying put razor wire up there, but I mean,
something.
A camera? How is every house? I bet every house in the suburbs of Dallas has a Ring camera on the front door.
Yeah.
Consider that.
Look into it, you know? Maybe.
Because it sounds like Davion's going to probably get out, maybe. I mean, you can't keep him too long for stealing the animals, can you?
I don't know.
He's a young man. He's a young man. I'm sure all of his internal organs are healthy. So he's got some, he's got some currency. And then he's just going to come back out. And he already told you, when I'm out, I'm back at it. I'm back at it. So.
And the thing is, the monkeys ain't pressing charges. They had the time of their life. You know?
They loved it.
They loved that shit.
They loved it.
They're like, oh, somebody holding our hands, showing us the city. You know?
They stuck with him long enough to get to the empty house.
Yeah. With him just holding hands.
Yeah. That means they were just sitting on the train looking out the window like 2 kids. He said, come on, y'all. They went, oh, well, we better go with him.
It's our stop? Okay. You probably had juice boxes for them. They had a blast.
Come on. The monkeys had a good time. No one What's talking to the monkeys? Let's talk to the monkeys.
Straight up. No monkey said anything. They ain't pressed no charges, okay?
Yep.
Let that dude rock. If anything, this should be the new routine, like breakout Fridays, you know?
Hire him,
Yeah.
zookeepers. Hire him, train him. He's clearly interested in animals.
Straight up.
Train him. Let's do like a work release program type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Train him on how to work at the zoo without taking your work home. And then let's see what he can do.
Yeah.
But, maybe it is time for the zoo to go out instead of everyone coming to the zoo and standing there. Maybe it's time for the zoo to go out.
I like that. It should be like those trolleys in like New Orleans where like you could like the drunk bars where like everybody gets on the bar and it drives around New Orleans, but you drink. The zoo should be like that. It should drive around hoods.
And it just has one tiger, 3 monkeys.
Oh yeah.
A gator in a glass bottom trolley. The bottom of it is just water with one gator in it.
I love this. This is a great business idea.
Just an elephant perched on the back or a giraffe or whatever they got going on. Do they have elephants in zoos nowadays? I know there's an elephant sanctuary in I think in Georgia somewhere. There might be an elephant sanctuary.
Hell yeah.
Just like someone who's like, I take in elephants that worked at at the circus.
Yeah.
And they age out or they get hurt or whatever. They take those elephants in. And that's just wild to think that in the middle of Georgia, there's just a place for rundown elephants. Yeah.
I don't know. I just think we could change the child party bus game, you know?
I think so.
People out here renting bouncy houses. You could rent the zoo. They just bring it to your house.
I mean, they have petting zoos, but those are always like 2 very tired donkeys.
Yeah, nah.
And a goat. Let's switch it up. Let's bring them a tiger.
Boom.
Let's bring them a tiger.
Done deal. I love this.
Yeah.
Hi, my man. Okay. Davion Irwin, open up a LinkedIn page. You deserve it, okay?
Yeah, for sure.
In other news, Mars Wrigley fined after worker falls in the chocolate tank. That's right. The Occupational Health and Safety Administration, OSHA, has fined Mars Wrigley Confectionery after 2 contractors, 2, fell into the chocolate tank at their Pennsylvania facility last year. The workers had to be rescued after they fell into a partially filled chocolate tank on June 9th of 2022. Authorities had to cut a hole in the tank to rescue the workers. Both were taken to the hospital, one of them by helicopter. According to OSHA, the fine has been labeled as a serious citation. The citation states that Mars Wrigley did not make sure that the employees had the proper knowledge of how to clean the chocolate tank located in the facility. OSHA fined Mars Wrigley more than $14,500 for the incident. The safety of our associates and outside contractors is a top priority for our business. As always, we appreciate OSHA's collaborative approach to working with us to conduct the after-action review. The workers who were contracted to clean the tank were from an outside agency and did not work for Mars Wrigley directly.
Okay. What?
Yo.
Wait. So it took me a minute. You kept saying Mars Wrigley, and I was like, what? Mars Wrigley? And then I realized that Mars Candy and Wrigley Gum are a company together. Got it. Okay. Just for anyone who's like, why do I know the name Mars Wrigley? You don't. They're 2 separate things, but that is what's happening. But it still took me a minute to realize that's what was happening. Secondly, I feel like Mars Wrigley together should have people on staff who know how to clean out the tank.
Yeah. Why is this outsourced?
Yes. Why is it outsourced? Why are they trying to clean a partially filled tank? I think there's one thing. I think there's something, because we've heard, I'm sure throughout your life, you've heard a story about someone falling into a chocolate tank.
Right.
I think chocolate is the quicksand that we've been taught to worry about. Because it seems like once you fall in, it's got you and it gets you quickly. And it's hot, I think, and you're just like sinking. because I feel like I might have watched some television show, probably 911 or something, where somebody got caught in a chocolate tank and he went down quick. But I was like, but when I watched it, I was like, yeah, that's what happens in a chocolate tank. So that means I've heard somewhere that that's what happens.
Word out on the streets, you know what I mean? Don't want to fall in them tanks. I
Oh
mean,
my
be careful.
God.
I
So, mhm.
I am blown away that like these two dudes, it sounded like they almost died. Like they had to empty
Yes.
the tanks by making holes in them. Cause like,
Yeah.
and I get that, right? Like chocolate on everything that I enjoy, it doesn't feel like it's like lightly layered. It always feels like it engulfs.
Yeah, it's
Whatever it
thick.
is, chocolate
All
takes
the
over.
commercials are of a thing that's being sucked into chocolate.
Yeah, it takes
Like
over.
yeah.
So like if you had to stand up from chocolate, I could see that being overwhelming. So they had to
Mhm.
dig a hole in the tank so that the chocolate could drain out. That's the only
Right.
way to save these dudes.
Mhm.
And
And you
OSHA
can't
said,
swim in it.
yeah, you can't swim in it. So
Right.
OSHA looked at this. Two people almost died. There's like, yo, y'all need to learn from this. We are gonna fine you $14,000
Thank you.
total.
Yeah.
Like two people almost died. And they're like, yep, you're gonna learn your lesson by finding Mars Wrigley
$7,250 per
per
person.
person. That is wild.
I know.
That is crazy. And at today's prices, that's like 8 candy bars.
Yeah.
Okay?
I know.
Like, what are we doing here, B? My corner store sells more than that. Okay, and you telling me that's all they worth? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
$7,000 a person for almost dying and like you just for the shame that that poor family would have to live if those guys
Right.
died. Yo, what happened to your dad? He got taken out, fell in the chocolate tank. Couldn't swim his way out. Couldn't swim his way out. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah. That
yo,
those 2 families that will never eat chocolate again, who
ever,
might already be like that now. Like, think of the customers you're losing.
yo,
But I really am wondering, why don't they have someone on staff who can do this?
because they know better. Everyone that works there knows the danger. You could convince an outsider, you're not. You
It's
just got to
nothing.
clean the chocolate tank. It's
Go down
easy.
there right quick.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
just
That's
go,
just
here's a little
nothing.
Windex.
Yeah.
Here's a harness, and just go on down.
That's it. You know what I mean? I would do it myself, but I'm busy over here, you know? So, I mean, just you know, just be careful. It's a little hot. It might kill you. But other than that, it's, yeah, 3rd-degree burns. Other than that, though, it's an easy gig. Yeah, I could see someone talking somebody who's been looking for work to do
Mhm.
that. You know, if you're what do they call that? If you're at a temp agency,
Oh, sure.
you know what I mean? You've been looking for a gig for a while. Somebody like, yo, you just want to just clean chocolate? That sound easy at first. So you
Sure,
get there
right.
and they start like, you know, putting you in a hazmat suit and you
Okay,
wondering
I
why
didn't
everybody else is real concerned for you.
right, I didn't think about that these are 2 people who just signed up with a temp agency.
Straight up. They
They
said
just
it's
got
an
a few bills
outside
to pay.
place. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Hey, look, this is nothing, it's real easy." It's like maybe 2 days work. Just gotta
So,
clean up. It's just like a factory cleaning, but, it's nothing too hard.
I'm
Just
telling
a
you.
giant vat half full of hot ass chocolate.
They were probably
Go
hyped
on
as hell.
in.
They was telling them, and we'll give you some free candy bars on the way out. You know,
Right,
like they
yeah.
were excited. Going in there, ain't know what they was getting into.
Oh, man.
Then
Yeah, you're gonna
they probably
but
saw everybody like leave the room when they was gonna get started, and they started getting nervous. Like, okay, this is weird. What's going on? Why nobody in here when we cleaning?
what do you do when you're engulfed? Like, I don't even remember any of the quicksand training. Like, all I know is someone's supposed to throw me a branch and help pull me out. But it sounds like that's not the way to go.
Also, yo, and like y'all been making chocolate for at least 100 years. How do these tanks not have like a latch, a door? Like, yo, y'all just thought of this now. We might need to drain this in an emergency.
Yeah, how is there not, like, already a little just a
Yeah,
little trap door on the
yeah.
side?
Oh my goodness. Yo, this is bananas to me. Like, that just seems like so like much of a given to me. Like, hey, we might need to drain this just cause we should probably
Just
have like a
quickly.
couple of, ways to get this out. Nah, fuck it. We'll do that when the time comes. You
So I
know?
wonder if they went in with just a regular sized drill, just like, just a couple of holes on it, or if they had to take a whole panel out, or how did they even figure oh my god.
Like, it makes me wonder if putting the latch door is costs more than $7,000. Like that's
Mm,
the math they had to do. They were like, well, OSHA would fine us seven
right.
G's if one of these guys go in here and fall in this. How much is the door? 8,000? Nah, let it rock. I like our luck. And they've made it 100 years. So like they win it. They math is good.
Well, I mean, they made it 100 years, but I'm sure we've lost a lot of people along the way.
Straight up. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, yeah, for them to have calculated that dollar amount. I'm sure we lost quite a few people along the way. Pour one out. pour pour out some yoo-hoo for our fallen comrades who gave their lives for Mars Wrigley to still barely get it right.
Real talk. every Mars bar you've tasted and enjoyed comes with somebody's soul, okay?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
A little bit.
And this
Oh,
was
man.
where? In Pennsylvania?
Yeah. And they make
See,
like all
and
of my
Hershey's
shit.
is right down the street.
Know what I mean? Not
Come
killing
on now.
anybody.
That we know of.
Or killing anybody better, okay? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Quietly killing people.
Yo, and they make M&M's, Snickers. They make all my shit.
Yeah, they make a lot of stuff. Are you looking at the list of Mars stuff?
Yeah, Mars Wrigley got the hits, yo.
What else do they make?
Yo, Orbits, Skittles. Like, they got some heat over there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, nah, that's rough.
They got heat. Like, you know, like low key, you could take somebody out the game and I'll let you rock. You know? Once a year, somebody could fall in the chocolate for these candies. I'm okay with that.
Oh my God. I want everyone to make sure they recognize that was Gastor who said that.
Hell
that
yeah,
was not
I own that
Shalewa.
shit.
I don't want to know how many people died for my Snickers.
Yeah, I don't want to know either, but I'm okay if you tell me. Like, I'm gonna still keep eating these. Juicy fruit, hell yeah. Take somebody out the game. Lifesavers? Come on, B. Big Red? Come on, B. I'm with this.
Yeah.
They got some bangers. Winter Fresh, Wrigley's, yo, Starburst? Come on.
Okay, all right, sure.
Bangers, I'm telling you. You can take one person out like a quarter.
I mean, they definitely do enough in Snicker sales alone to sacrifice someone. Just for Snickers alone, there's a sacrifice. Yeah. There's an annual sacrifice.
I'm telling you. You know what I mean? This is beautiful. That might have been what happened. It wasn't even like they fell by. It was a ritual.
It was a ritual, and someone rethought. You
Straight
think those
up.
two were like, wait a minute, we don't want to.
I mean, I don't want to be VP this bad, okay?
Yeah, this isn't what I thought. And they just yelled at him, quit fighting it, but they kept fighting, and now they had to drill a hole in it.
Oh, man. Finally, Brooklyn woman tried to kill a lookalike with the poison cheesecake. Okay. A woman was found guilty of trying to kill her lookalike with a poison cheesecake in Queens. Brooklyn woman Victoria Nasirova stole the victim's identity after giving her cheesecake laced with phenazepam type of tranquilizer back in August of 2016. Queens District Attorney Melinda Katz said she was convicted of attempted murder charges and faces up to 25 years in prison. The jury saw through the deception and schemes of the defendant. She laced a slice of cheesecake with a deadly drug so she could steal her unsuspecting victim's most valuable possession, her identity. Fortunately,
that's a little dramatic. Okay. What, are you pitching a show or are you telling us what happened? Come on.
She's going to be in the pilot. You know what I mean? It's going to be a doc later. Nasirova, now 47, went to the Forest Hills home of the victim with a cheesecake in August of 2016. The women both had dark hair, the same skin complexion, and other similar physical traits. They also both spoke Russian. The victim, then 35, dug into the cheesecake, but then felt sick and laid down. Her last memory before passing out is of seeing Nasirova walking around the room. The victim was found the next day by one of her friends. She was dressed in lingerie with phenazepam pills scattered around her body. Scene meant to convince investigators that the victim had tried to kill herself. When the victim returned home from the hospital, she found that her passport, employment authorization card, and cash and gold were missing.
Okay. All right. So here, I got a couple of questions. I got a lot of questions today. It's a very thought-provoking episode. So this woman found someone who looked like her
Yep.
and then showed up at her house with a cheesecake
Yeah.
that's been poisoned. And the woman ate the cheesecake?
Yeah. You
Hmm.
gotta assume there's some backstory here. Like,
Like, how did you meet? Like, you can't you got to have, like,
you gotta build
there
the
must be
bond.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like, I'm not just gonna eat cheesecake that you bring me. Number 1,
No.
because I hate cheesecake. So you're gonna have to do research.
Right.
If you look like me and you show up at my door with cheesecake, you didn't do your research. Because first of all, you think I'm just gonna eat whatever you give me.
Mm-mm.
No,
Not gonna
no,
happen.
no, no. And like what? She okay, so there's that. So I wonder if there's just like um a community, like the Russian community,
Yeah.
right? Absolutely. Great. But that also means there's a sense of community, which means you're just going to come into the community. You're going to target the person who looks like you. You're going to poison a cheesecake. You're going to give it to her. You're going to try to make it look like she tried to commit suicide. You're going to take all her stuff and then you're just going to be in the community.
Yo.
Like you think no one's going to be like, you're not her. If you're not an exact twin, if you're not an identical twin, you're not going to throw anyone off that way, right?
Yo. I mean, we don't got pictures. They might have been real close.
Real close or not. And I mean, I remember there was something like in the New York Times a couple of years ago where they took people who looked a lot alike, who were not related, but they
Yeah.
just looked a lot alike and took pictures of them together. Um, but I mean, still, one might be a little taller, or you're going to walk with a limp, or there's something that's going to, like, you would have to leave the community if you're taking that
Yeah.
person's identity. But then if you leave and then someone does like a check on you, aren't you dead? You know what I mean? Like, okay, you're in Queens, you steal this woman's identity, and then you leave and you go to say like Arizona and you try to get work. And so they're like, "Oh, okay, you're so and so." And they do just a little cursory, like, "Who is this person that we're getting ready to hire?" And then, they're checking their references or whatever. And then you get a hit, like, "Oh, it's this person." And it's like, "Oh, that person died in Queens," because other people know who that is.
I sent
And
you a
so they're
link
gonna
so you can see the face to face. I agree with you. Looking at the pictures,
Uh-huh.
if I knew them, I would think that they're different but looked alike. But if like I only casually like seen her once, I could see this working.
Nah, this shit ain't gonna work. I don't even know which is the look. I mean, they need to have the same body type and everything, but one of them has fillers. One of them's going for a cutesy chubby face.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the killer. Oh, okay. And then
Yep.
she picked a skinnier version. Nope, that's already going to be a problem. That's the problem. It's based on the eye of the person who wants to commit the crime. So they're going to find someone who's actually a little bit hotter than them. So no, the lips don't work. The eyebrows don't match. Like
This
I
she don't look like you. This is who you want it to look like.
this is who you want it to look like.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
Oh man. Hey man, people got dreams out there, you know?
Oh wow. Cheesecake. That's see it now. This is why I don't trust nobody. You're not just gonna show up at my house with a cheesecake.
Yeah.
I don't trust anybody now.
Yo, if you remotely look like me and you tried to feed me, I would be like more
Mm-mm.
intent. Like all my senses would be going on.
Yeah,
You
like
know?
why are you bringing this to me for no reason? It's not my birthday. You
Mm-mm.
just happen to make a whole cake. No, no. And you want to give me a whole cake? And
If
that's
you
what I mean. You have to like build up the kind of relationship so that I'm not surprised that you brought me a whole cake. But that's going to take years. It's going to take years.
if you would like
Mm.
to steal Shalewa's identity, you better put in the time, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
You
You
know,
better.
if that's thoughts by liking and subscribing to the show, okay?
Become a listener.
Become a listener. You know, learn some things.
Yeah, keep notes. You'll figure it out. But we've been around for 2 years, so you got to listen to at least 2 years worth of
At minimum.
war reports at minimum before you even start to get a handle.
If you are an Apple or Spotify listener, we appreciate your ratings. 4 stars, you would have came in Shalewa with some cheesecake. Know what I mean? You would have been fucking up day one. You know what I mean?
Yep.
5 stars, you know the truth. I do too, but I won't share it just in case because I want you to listen to the 2 years worth of episodes.
That's right. Do the work. It's out there. It's in plain sight.
But I mean, earn your place, okay?
Yep.
If you have any articles you want us to cover, please DM us directly on Twitter and Instagram at Silky Jumbo or at Gastor Almonte. I love the stories this week too. Shout outs to FCVLJ, Black Girl Green World, Robin G, and Iron Fist Mom, amongst others who shared a lot of dope stuff. With all that said, I am admittedly gonna die sooner than shocked because I would still eat some dope food if you brought it over. Gastor Almonte. Now, why not? Bring me some empanadas. I'm going out. Like, it is what it is. You see my sandwich devotion, okay? There's a lot of ways to take me out the game. With the far more cautious and soon to outlive me, Shalewa Sharpe.
Yep.
This has been a cautionary episode of the War Report. Catch y'all next time. Peace.